Hi, my name is Sandeep Kaushik, and you are watching Health Bites with Zaita. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about something very important in the pharma industry, which is the supply chain. And with me is our expert from Zaita Life Sciences, Mr. Arvinder Singh. Welcome, Arvinder.
Thank you, Sandeep. It's always very enlightening speaking to you. Looking forward to a great interaction again.
Thank you, me too. So, Arvinder, to begin with, when you talk about the supply chain in pharma industry, of course, in any industry, supply chain is very critical. But how important it is in the pharma industry?
I think, Sandeep, you just got the pulse of the entire functioning as far as the pharma industry is concerned. The supply chain is, of course, the most integral part.
Uh-huh.
Howsoever good products we have, howsoever manufacturing capacities the company has,
Yeah.
but if it does not reach the desired places well on time
Uh-huh.
in the same condition that it is supposed to be,
Yeah.
then it's all meaningless. So
Okay.
the supply chain definitely is a very, very critical component of the entire organ as far as the uh, pharmaceutical industry is concerned.
Great. Good to know that. I also hear that a lot of medicine requires some kind of special supply chain when you have to have a special temperature. So, what exactly is that technology? I mean, how do you really manage that?
Well, I'll try to simplify this, Sandeep, as much as possible.
Uh-huh.
If you ever happen to look upon a carton of any product which may be lying in a home
Yeah.
or maybe any place, you will always find a guideline of the storage conditions.
Uh-huh.
Now, generally, most of the products, I would say a majority of them would have mentioned store within room temperature.
Okay.
So, which means they are okay if they
You
are
can
kept
keep
in
it
a
in room
normal.
temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But that, and then there are certain products wherein the mention may be of a temperature zone. They may say that, okay, you need to store this below 25 degrees centigrade.
Okay.
And then if you go into more specialized products, there is a cold chain recommendation that store between 2 to 8 degree products.
Okay.
So those are the products which require to be stored in a very controlled environment. And then there are other very highly specialized products like vaccines or so, which need to be stored sub-zero temperatures as well.
So, cold chain is the word for that, is it?
Yeah, that's true. So cold chain is the main word how this entire thing revolves, because the cold chain maintenance is something which is of lot of importance when it comes to very specialized products.
So, can you give me some example of the pharmaceutical products which actually require this kind of temperature control or like the cold chain process?
Okay, if I look at it on a very generic or a very basic level, I think insulin is what something most people know.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a product which needs to be stored within a zone of 2 to 8 degrees temperatures.
Uh-huh.
Now, what happens is that insulin is being used by masses,
Yeah.
and it's a life-saving product, and it's a very highly innovative product as well.
Uh-huh.
And if you have to tell the patient case you have to store this between 2 to 8 degrees, he might be at loss to understand, okay, now how do I get this temperature zone?
Yeah.
Because I am a simple person and I
And you
have
don't
a
have temperature
I have
controlled
I don't have
equipment.
temperature
Yes.
controlled kind of areas at my place. So how will I store it? So am I going to lose on the benefits of what insulin would do to me? But that's where exactly the role of you know coaching and training the patients come, because if we look at on a very basic level, the refrigerator is something which is very commonly available in everybody's house
It is.
nowadays,
It is.
and the door of the refrigerator is where the temperature usually remains between 2 to 8 degrees temperature.
Okay.
So that's a place where,
That's why people keep the insulin at the doors,
yeah,
the refrigerator doors.
of course. And then suddenly everything gets simplified because the storage range is reached. So the product remains stable enough between 2 to 8 degrees. And that's how it ensures the effectiveness of usage remains when it comes to using something like insulin.
So I would love to know, like, when you say cold chain, that means the thing is manufactured at a manufacturing facility of the pharma companies. Then, of course, it's transported across the world, and then it reaches the end client, firstly the warehouses, then to the chemist, and then to the people. So just in case, I mean, if the cold chain is broken in between, how does it affect the efficacy or, that the whatever they're using, what is the efficacy change happens?
Well, looking at the cold chain maintenance, is a very important parameter. And most companies who have products which are cold chain based or cold chain specific
Uh-huh.
normally do have infrastructures which ensure that the product which is manufactured at their premises, by the time it reaches the end patient, the quality and the effectiveness and the efficacy, everything remains intact.
Okay.
So, usually there are ways and methodologies how these products are transported. For example, a company who is manufacturing a cold chain product will have a distribution setup which will be cold chain based.
Okay.
Now, those again, if there are further stockists who will stock the product before it goes to the patient or to the chemist, will have facilities which are cold chain compliant. Even the licensing authorities in India, for example, issue licenses which are issued to companies who maintain cold chain as per the standards which are required. And then again, when from the distributors or from the chemist, the product is transported to the patient who's the end user, there are bags which maintain the cold chain and the temperature within that particular range which is required for that specific product. And then the patient is also coached, okay, now this is how you have to store it, this is how you have to use it, and this is how it's going to be of benefit to you. So there's a lot of effort which goes right from the manufacturing till the end point where the cold chain is maintained. I mean, that's something which not even thought over, that what happens if it breaks. Although you do have checks and balances in place,
Yeah.
but the cold chain maintenance is a zero compromise and a
Very
100%
critical
error
part of
free
that.
area. Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to the cold chain process, the entire process, and the entire supply chain, do you think the technology is helping the pharmaceutical companies in terms of having a better flow of these products?
Yes, that's something which has been really very supportive in terms of ensuring the effectiveness as far as the product is concerned, and also maintaining the cold chain. Now, to look at the perspective on this is, if we take on India as a country,
Uh-huh.
you have a wonderful country spread right from Kashmir till Kanyakumari. And if you look at the temperatures ranges in
Variants,
our
yes.
country,
Yeah.
it will be from -20 till +50.
Yeah.
So look at the range of temperature, and then you don't have the infrastructure which is available in maybe metros or B
Or
class or
tier
C
two,
class
tier three
town.
cities, yeah.
Yeah. So in those kind of towns, there definitely can be issues. Now, what has happened is, over the years, there have been a lot of facilities where you have cold chain storage, which is solar. So, I mean, those areas where storage could be an issue, the solar cold chains are very much being installed by many companies. And to also look at a more bigger perspective, a lot of good technologies have come over, right till the endpoint monitoring, till wireless devices which give you real time scenarios of where your consignment or where your product is, and also wonderful technologies like Internet of Things, like blockchain, like so much great tech which is being put into by companies where the stakes are so high to ensure that the effectiveness and efficacy is maintained, come what may.
Good to know that technology is helping in every possible way. Now, my next question would be that what are the major challenges this cold chain faces, especially in kind of developing countries, or to so about pandemic timings, like for example COVID-19 times. What are the challenges normally pharma companies faces?
In cold chain, there's a term called the last mile delivery. Now, the last mile delivery is that, okay, the company has good systems in place, everything's fine. It has reached the distribution level as well. Now, when it's going to the end user, that last mile is where most of the things happen to go wrong.
Okay.
And whatever I have understood, that's an area where a lot of effort is being put in and should be put in to ensure that the last mile is well taken care of, because that's where things do have a chance of going wrong.
Okay. So talking of last mile, when any customer gets the product at his place, what are your suggestions to them to find out about the products, and how do they store so that the efficacy and the potency remains the same and the effect remains the same?
I think that's where the role of the pharmaceutical industry comes into place.
Uh-huh.
And companies who are into such specialized products do have their field staff who counsels the patients or their distributors or their stockists in terms of storage and usage both. And I think most of the companies are doing a good job in that, in terms of educating the patient how to store the product, how to use the product, how to ensure that it is maintained within the safe parameters of their usage,
Uh-huh.
and how to ensure that what are the kind of benefits they will expect out of it, and how will it the long term compliance be of great utility to them. So I mean, all these things are more of a cumulative effort rather than a single person. But yes, the role of technology is important, the role of people is important, and this is an area where tech and people
Need to
are
work
coming
together.
around. They're working in tandem, and they're doing a good job, I would say.
Okay.
Although, as they say very rightly, that the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement.
Oh, yes. Oh,
So,
yes.
so yes, things are improving, and there's a lot which remains undone, and a lot which is being done also at the same time. So, I would say good times coming on that.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Avinder, for telling us about the supply chain and more specifically about cold chain. So, my advice to all of you who are watching this is that whenever you get any medicine or any product which has to be consumed by you from the pharma industry, make sure to understand how the storage is supposed to be. If it is a room storage, keep it in room storage. And if it's something which is has to be kept in a special temperature, of course, it has to be kept in a refrigerator. And he just suggested that it should be kept at the door of the refrigerator. And go ask the people who are giving you this about the storage, because it's very, very important to find out that the potency or the efficiency of that products remain 100%. You're watching Health Bites with Zaita, and today we talked about the supply chain, the pharma industries. Keep watching, and we'll keep coming out with some amazing, amazing subjects. Looking forward to see you there. Thank you.